So you're looking at Africa for 2025. Smart move. The growth opportunities are, frankly, incredible. But here's the thing, unlocking that potential isn't straightforward. It's a complex landscape, and your standard team of advisors, well, they're just not going to cut it.
This is really for anyone who is or, aspires to be a high-stakes investor. If you're looking to do more than just dip your toe in the water, you need to think beyond the basics. Your lawyers, your accountants, they're table stakes. We're talking about building the team that gives you a real competitive edge.
Okay, so let's dive right in. We're going to build out the essential A-team you absolutely need to succeed. We'll cover 8 key experts, starting with your foundational line of defense. Think of this as the group that protects your capital from day one.
First up, your compliance shield. This is all about securing your capital and your operations. These are the folks who protect your money from all those legal, regulatory, and financial risks that can honestly completely derail a venture before it even gets off the ground.
Okay, role number 1, the financial compliance officer. And listen, this is not just another accountant on your payroll. This specialist has one single critical mission: making sure your capital can get into the country, sure, but way more importantly, that your profits can get out.
And this is a trap so many investors fall into. Look, depositing your investment, that's the easy part. It's withdrawing your profits where things get complicated. We're talking about central bank regulations that are constantly changing, and a lot of the time, they're not even fully public. If you don't have an expert making sure every I is dotted and T is crossed from the very beginning, your funds can get locked up. And just like that, a profitable venture turns into a total cash flow nightmare.
All right, next up, role number 2, the BE specialist. Now, if you're looking at South Africa, this is a must-have. But hey, even if your sights are set elsewhere, don't tune out. BE is a South African thing, sure, but similar kinds of local economic empowerment laws exist all across the continent. So the principle here is absolutely crucial no matter where you're investing.
So what is broad-based Black economic empowerment, or BEE? Think of it like a legislated point system that rewards businesses for helping with local empowerment. Now, for an investor who doesn't know the ropes, this looks like a huge, complicated hurdle. But for you, with the right specialist, it's a strategic advantage, a huge one. We're talking tax incentives, government loans, and building an incredible local reputation. Role number 3 is, well, it's completely non-negotiable, the HR and labor law expert. Seriously, I cannot stress this enough. The labor laws across the continent are wildly different from what you might be used to in the US or Europe. And getting them wrong? It's a one-way ticket to some very, very expensive legal battles.
This is probably one of the biggest tripwires for foreign investors. You've got unique rules for hiring and firing. You've got very specific legal and social expectations for what a manager should be and do. There are even different kinds of contracts for freelancers versus full-time staff. Getting this stuff wrong isn't just a small mistake, it's one of the most common and costly ways an investment can go south.
Okay, so your compliance shield is in place. Your capital is secure. Now let's talk about making your operation actually work. This is where your on-the-ground intelligence team comes in. These are the experts who take all that local nuance and turn it into actual profit.
And right at the heart of that team is role number 4, the local strategist. Let's say you bring in your own management or marketing team from back home. That's fine. But you need a local strategist to guide them. They're your eyes and ears, giving you that priceless intel on market trends, cultural subtleties, and, crucially, political attitudes that can literally change your business landscape overnight. And taking that a step deeper, you have role 5, the cultural advisor. This person goes beyond just the surface-level stuff. It's not just about knowing the right way to greet someone. It's about understanding the deep, subtle cultural currents that define everything: business etiquette, how to negotiate, and, at the end of the day, what really makes the local consumer tick.
This quote really says it all. It's not just about how much money you earn. That's not the only thing that determines why you want to buy something, right? You can sit there with a spreadsheet and analyze demographics all day long, but that data will never tell you the why. A cultural advisor helps you get to that why, the deep-seated values that decide whether your product is even viable, long before you start talking about profitability.
So you might be thinking an environmental consultant is optional, right? An easy place to cut a few costs? A lot of investors think that way. But here's the thing. In so many parts of Africa, the environment is deeply, fundamentally connected to the community and spiritual beliefs. And ignoring that connection, well, it's a gamble. A very, very big gamble you can't afford to take.
And I'm not just talking theory here. Let me tell you a quick cautionary tale. There was an investor building a guest house. decided to skip the environmental and spiritual consultation to save some money. Step 2, disaster. A few months after opening, some construction issue nobody caught causes a massive flood. And the cost? The investor was held liable for the damage to 67 homes. 67! It's a brutal lesson, but an important one. This isn't just about being a good neighbor. It's about mitigating truly catastrophic financial risk.
Which brings us to our last major piece of the puzzle, navigating the power structures. If you want to build something that lasts, a truly sustainable business, you have to understand that there are basically two parallel systems of authority you need to connect with. This is so important to grasp. It's not a single power structure like you might be used to. On one hand, you have the official governmental authority, your presidents, ministers, counselors. Your political liaison helps you navigate that. But running right alongside it, with incredible influence, is the cultural authority, the tribal houses, the chiefs, the royal courts. And for that, you need a cultural liaison. You absolutely have to navigate both to succeed long-term.
So, let's break down the role of your liaisons. The political liaison gets you aligned with the right people in government, which can be pretty complex. The cultural liaison, on the other hand, builds those deep, foundational relationships with traditional leaders, which gets you what's called a social license to operate. And here is the most critical piece of strategy. You have to establish these ties from day one. You can't wait until you're in trouble and need a favor. By then, it's already too late.
All right, let's pull this all together. We've talked about a lot of different experts, but what's important to see is that this isn't just a random list of people to hire. It's a cohesive, strategic A-team.
It really boils down to these 8 essential experts for your team. 8 people who, working together, can take what looks like a high-risk venture and transform it into a high-return, sustainable investment.
So here they are, your investment A-team. Think of it like a playbook, not a checklist. You've got your financial compliance officer, BE specialist, and HR expert forming that compliance shield to protect your capital. Then your local strategist, cultural advisor, and environmental and spiritual consultant are your on-the-ground intelligence, making sure you're effective. And finally, your political and cultural liaisons build the network you need for long-term growth. You put them all together and you de-risk the whole operation. You build a business that's designed to thrive.
So I'll leave you with this question. You have the capital, right? You're ready to go. But do you have the team? Because in Africa, you have to stop thinking of your team as a cost. It's not. It is, without a doubt, the single most important investment you can make in your own success.